Exposed, how a black woman turned injustice into life-changing triumph. Their Smirks disappeared. Maya's heart raced as she stood on the steps of the old town hall, its peeling paint a metaphor for her community's decay. She was a single mother, only 35, but she carried the weight of generations on her shoulders. The whispers of oppression echoed in the streets, tainting even the sunniest days. But here she was, soul ablaze, ready to fight for her son Malik, a 16-year-old basketball star whose dreams of college were under siege. Every day, she worked 2 jobs, grinding as a waitress in a local diner and cleaning offices at night, all to provide for Malik. Their small home, filled with the laughter of neighborhood kids and plastered with inspiring posters, was a beacon of hope amidst the shadows. But the light flickered when Malik was accused of stealing by the local basketball coach, a man who blatantly favored the privileged white players. The storm brewed. It crashed down on Maya like thunder. Her ineffectual pleas for help went unheeded, met only with cold glances and thinly veiled smirks from neighbors who had once been friends. She felt the isolation creeping in, gnawing at her spirit. But her son's eyes sparkled with innocence, and she knew she had to uncover the truth. She dug deep, revealing chilling evidence of systemic discrimination against young black athletes in their school. Anger surged within her, flames of determination igniting her resolve. She rallied the community, organizing a gathering at the local park where voices would rise up in unity. But right before the rally, another blow. The school suspended Malik. Maya felt the air go thick and heavy. Tears welled up as she watched him crumble, feeling the weight of his defeat. Could they recover from this? Or would it snuff out their dreams, leaving them in the dark? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As they stood together on that makeshift stage, the crowd began to gather, whispers morphing into a murmur. Maya clenched her fists, her heart pounding. This was at a moment that could reshape their lives. She opened her mouth, voice bursting forth like a dam breaking, challenging everyone to confront their biases. The community watched, fearful yet compelled. Some had softened, empathy breaking through the hardened exteriors of indifference, while others tensed, resisting the shift. This wasn't just about Malik, it was a turning point for all, a test of their hearts. Suddenly, the chilling wind howled through the crowd, doubt and division spiraling around them. Would they rally together or sink back into the old ways of quiet prejudice? Maya's pulse quickened as she locked eyes with her son. Here they stood, mother and son, united against all odds, the fate of their future hanging in the balance. Would justice prevail, or were they destined to remain shackled by the chains of a past that refused to let go? Maya took a deep breath, feeling the energy crackle in the air like electricity. She glanced at Malik, his face a mix of fear and determination. This was the moment they had been fighting for, and there was no turning back now. Listen up, everyone. Her voice rang out, cutting through the cool evening air. We're here not just for Malik, but for every child who dreams of a brighter future, who feels the heavy hand of injustice on their shoulders. The murmurs grew. Some nodded, a flicker of hope igniting in their eyes. Others looked away, uncomfortable. Maya sensed the divide, the hesitation, the silent doubts. But she pushed on, fueled by a fire that burned deep within her. He is not a criminal. He is a kid. A kid filled with dreams, just like yours. Her gaze darted around the crowd, locking onto familiar faces that had once smiled warmly at them, but now seemed lost in a fog of indifference. Today, we stand together. Today, we say enough is enough. There was a stirring in the crowd as her words began to resonate. A murmur rippled through them, shifting from uncertainty to understanding. She could see it, the walls slowly crumbling around hearts once hardened by bias. Maya's voice grew stronger, reaching for those still hesitant to join the cause. We are united. No more whispers in the shadows. It's time to stand in the light. As she spoke, she could see some people shifting forward, their expressions changing. Two women in the front, once drawn together by gossip, now shared glances, realization settling in. They were all affected by Malik's plight, witnessing the erosion of their community's integrity. As her speech reached its climax, she felt the temperature shift. It wasn't just the weather. This was a rising tide of change. Every voice counts. Let us join hands. Let us speak loudly. We will not rest until our children can play, dream, and thrive without fear of this discrimination. The crowd erupted in cheers, a growing chorus of claps and supportive shouts, igniting a spark of solidarity. But in the back of her mind, Maya felt a gnawing doubt. What if the school board didn't listen? What if the legacy of prejudice was too strong? Malik stepped forward, wiping the moisture from his eyes. Mom, I want to speak. I need to. She stepped aside, heart swelling with pride yet laced with anxiety. As he took the microphone, the crowd fell silent. His voice shook at first, but he steadied himself, fists clenched tight. I didn't steal. I love this game. It's my life. All I want is a fair chance to show what I can do. A hush fell over the audience as he continued, the passion in his young voice breaking through the tension. I just want to be seen. I want you all to believe in me, like I believe in myself. Tears stung Maya's eyes as she watched her son emerge, the vulnerable boy slowly turning into a man who refused to be silenced. She felt hope bubble within her, a hope that, perhaps, change was truly possible. But just then, a relentless voice cut through the moment. The town's mayor, a figure of authority wrapped in privilege, strolled into the park, arms crossed. This is not the time or place for your complaints, Maya, he declared, disdain dripping from his words. You're stirring trouble. The body of the crowd shifted uncomfortably. Maya's heart dropped. How had they come so far only to be confronted by the very voice that sought to bury them? The tension thickened, forcing the crowd to choose sides once again. Are we really going to let him take this from us? Maya shouted, her heart racing. Her next words could shatter the moment or carry them forward. Would they stand strong together, or would they falter under pressure? As the mayor glared, awaiting a response, Maya felt the weight of history on her shoulders. The stakes had never been higher. Would the community rise to the challenge, or would they again retreat into silence? Maya's heart pounded in her chest as she locked eyes with the mayor. The crowd felt like a living thing, their collective breath held, the moment suspended in time. She saw Malik shifting nervously behind her, just a boy caught in a whirlwind of adult frustrations and injustices. Enough, she yelled, her voice booming with defiance. This is about my son, yes, but it's also about every child who has felt the sting of discrimination. This isn't just my fight, it's ours. Each one of you knows the weight of unfairness. Don't pretend otherwise. An uneasy silence surrounded them for a moment. Then, slowly, a few fists began to rise in solidarity. Yes! Someone shouted from the back, a voice Maya recognized as one of the local teachers. Others followed suit, their voices joining in a tide of agreement. Don't let him silence us, Maya urged, feeling the swell of courage around her. It was like a spark igniting the dry kindling, a flame beginning to roar in defiance of the cold reality they faced. Look around. We're not alone anymore. This is our moment to show the world what we stand for. The mayor's face twisted in disdain, but as he looked out at the crowd starting to rally, Doubt flickered in his eyes. He was used to being a wall of authority, immovable and unquestioned, but something had changed. Malik, bolstered by his mother's words, took a step forward again. I just want to play basketball like everyone else. I want a chance, not just because of who I am, but because of what I can do. His voice trembled but was steady. There was pure power in his innocence, a plea that broke through any defenses. Maya could feel the crowd shifting now, eyes wide open with realization. Here was Malik, who had never asked for much, just a fair shot. Do we stand with him? She called, sensing the momentum. Do we stand against the injustice that has crept into our lives? Yes. The chant grew. We do. The words sang through the park now, carried forward by more voices. Even those who had turned their backs before were stepping forward. Nobody wanted to be silent anymore. Maya saw the change moving through them like an invisible tide, washing away hesitation and doubt. As the crowd became one, the mayor's bravado began to falter. You're all just following her blindly, he shouted, desperately seeking to reclaim control. But that only fueled their passion more. We're not blind, Maya shouted back. We see what is happening. We know our children are worth fighting for. The energy, once crackling and uncertain, now roared like a firestorm. People were stepping into the light, voices raised in unity. Maya felt a sense of belonging wash over her. They were a tapestry of souls weaving together for the same cause. Yet still, doubt flickered in the corners of her mind. What if this isn't enough? She worried. If the mayor stood firm, what power did they truly wield? The questions gnawed at her, but she pushed them aside. Together, she called, holding out her hands, inviting everyone to join in. Let us not just stand. Let us act. We can make a change right here, right now. The crowd surged forward, hands joining, hearts pounding. Then she heard Malik's voice ring clear above the rest. Please help me, I can show them I'm good enough. The cry of a child looking for approval echoed in the night. The truth of what was at stake hit Maya hard. Their success hinged on what happened next. As they prepared to confront the mayor as a united front, doubt crept back in. What if the community's newfound resolve crumbled at the first sign of resistance? Would they be strong enough to face whatever was about to come, or would this moment of triumph turn into disappointment? Maya inhaled deeply, ready to face the challenge, but she could feel the weight of the world resting on the outcome of their next step. Maya's heart raced as the crowd surged forward, a living wave of supporters ignited by her rallying cry. She felt the warmth of their bodies pressed against hers, each heartbeat echoing her own resolve. It was as if they were creating a shield around Malik, encasing him in strength, a unity that refused to back down. Let us show him. Someone yelled from the back, a voice brimming with unmasked anger. We're not going anywhere. The words released a fresh surge of energy, stirring the crowd into a frenzy. They weren't mere spectators anymore. They were participants in their own destiny. Maya turned her focus back to the mayor. Anger radiated from him, but behind it, she glimpsed fear. Was he afraid of losing control? She clenched her fists, unwilling to yield her power to that fear. The mayor spoke again, his voice trembling. You're making a mistake. You don't know what you're up against. Maybe you're right, but neither do you. She rebutted, voice steady, unwavering. We're done being afraid. We're done letting you define what is possible for our children. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, and suddenly, resolute faces were thrust forward. The baker, the shopkeeper, the coach. All people she knew, faces from her community, ready to stand up. They were all family now. Malik's not the only one. Look at our kids, shouted the teacher who had rallied the crowd earlier. They deserve a chance too. Maya felt tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. Recognizing the collective power surging around her stirred something deep within. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. It was about claiming their voices, their rights. It was about the generations that came before them who had fought and died for equality. Do you all remember what it felt like when your voice was silenced? Maya asked, her voice rising above the sea of humanity. There was an echoing stillness as one by one, heads nodded. The fear of not being heard? Tonight, we take that back. A flicker of uncertainty crossed the mayor's face, but he quickly masked it with bravado. You think your noise can frighten me into submission? No. Maya boomed, the strength in her voice shaking the very ground beneath him. What frightens you is the truth. The truth that we are here together, and we're not going anywhere. The crowd erupted, their voices intertwining into a melody of defiance. We're not going anywhere. They chanted louder, fists raised high, drowning out the mayor's protests. In that moment, Maya locked eyes with Malik. He looked up at her, his innocence mingled with newfound courage. This was the moment they had all been searching for. It wasn't only about him. It was about every child who ever felt their worth questioned. Yet a deep breath of apprehension spiraled through her. What if this was only a temporary rush fueled by the moment? What if the mayor found a way to exert his power again? The fear that their unity might splinter under pressure loomed large over her dreams of change. Could they withstand the weight of his opposition? Just then, the mayor raised his hand up in a desperate attempt to quell the noise. If you think this ends with shouting and anger, you are mistaken, he thundered. We'll see where this leads you. Maya's heart clenched. What did he mean? A sudden stillness formed as realization struck. The mayor wouldn't just stand there and take this uprising lightly. His confrontation felt imminent. She glanced around, knowing the next moments would shape everything. They were on the brink of something monumental, but the question loomed over all of them. Would they be ready for the storm that was about to break? As the air grew thick with anticipation, Maya could almost taste the mixture of hope and fear, one that promised change but came with a risk. Was this the time for transformation, or would it all crash down before them? As the tension hung in the air like a delicate thread, she prepared herself for the challenge that awaited. The mayor's next words cut through the air like a knife. You think you can just march in here and demand change? You're out of your depth. His bravado rang hollow, but it ignited a spark of defiance among the crowd. Maya squared her shoulders, her resolve solidifying in that moment. We may be small, she called out, her voice breaking through the thick tension, but together we are an unshakable force. That electrifying statement echoed, and the crowd started to chant once more, the rhythm pounding like a heartbeat. Unshakable. Unshakable. The words filled the air, energizing every soul, every spirit. She could see Malik's eyes shining bright, filled with hope. It fueled her, and as she turned to the mayor once more, she felt the strength of their unity. It was more than a gathering. It was a family fighting for their place, their rights. But suddenly, the mayor took a step back, pulling out his phone. It dawned on her then what he intended. He would weaponize the event against them. Gather evidence, create a narrative of chaos. Her heart skipped a beat. Look, he said with a sneer, his camera pointed at them. Just look at this mob. If you keep this up, you'll see just how quickly things can turn ugly. Maya felt the breath hitch in her throat. Would he manipulate this moment into something that would haunt them? She had to respond. Turn ugly? She shouted back, her voice firm yet laden with emotion. It's already ugly. We're just bringing the truth into the light. The crowd seemed to shrink back, eyes wide. The uncertainty washed over them like a wave. This wasn't just about them anymore. The mayor was playing games, threatening the change they fought for. But Maya refused to let fear dictate their actions. Trust each other. She called out to the crowd, scanning the sea of familiar faces. Look around you. This, she gestured broadly, this is your community. Your love for one another is stronger than his threats. Echoes of agreement rippled through the crowd, bolstered by a determination to stand firm. Our community. Voices rang out, united in a single heartbeat, drowning out the mayor's sneering remarks. Maya locked eyes with Malik again. His small face was twisted in concentration, absorbing everything: the fear, the determination, and the belief that change was possible. "This is for you, Malik," she voiced softly, a promise carried in her heart. The flickering lights of change ignited within him. She could see it, but the mayor's sneer deepened as the chants surrounded him. "You think this will end well?" he taunted. "Do you really think your voices will drown out what is to come?" Maya pressed forward. "It's already begun," she declared, firing up the crowd again. "We have a future to fight for. For our children. For Malik." Suddenly, other community leaders emerged beside her, uniting in purpose. "For families." One shouted, another added, "For freedom." The mayor's bravado began to falter, as he realized he was losing control over the narrative. The storm was indeed rising, not just within the crowd but against him. Then, it happened: a palpable shift in the atmosphere. Maya could feel the word together becoming a defining mantra, stitching them closer. But as the collective strength surged, gripping hope swelled within her. How deeply would they have to dig in? What would be the cost of their fight? Maya stood firm, heart hammering, knowing the stakes had never been higher. If the mayor had his way, their unity could be shattered in an instant. A sudden crash of thunder rolled ominously overhead, as if mirroring the tumult around them. They were on the precipice of something explosive. Could they withstand whatever fury would come next? Would they be able to transform the flames of anger and fear into a beacon of hope? The real battle was just beginning, and the storm clouds were gathering. The wind picked up, swirling around Maya and the crowd, as if the heavens were weighing in on their plight. She felt the chilling breeze on her skin, but it was the fire in her heart that truly warmed her. This was a moment she couldn't back down from. She inhaled deeply, drawing strength from the passionate faces around her, unyielding against the looming storm. The mayor looked uneasy. He shifted on his feet, his earlier confidence crumbling under the weight of discontent that had gathered surrounding him. The chants of "unshakable" reverberated like a drumbeat, breaking through the tension that thickened the damp air. As she stood at the forefront, her gaze swept over the diverse crowd. It was a tapestry of every color and background, stitched together by shared dreams and struggles. "They think they can divide us," she shouted. "But together, we are stronger. Together, we will rise." Malik, standing close by, stepped forward. Inspired, he echoed her sentiment, "Stronger." His small voice surged through the crowd, and they erupted into cheers, a wave of unwavering energy crashing upon them. But the mayor wasn't done. "You kids don't get it," he barked, frustration dripping from his tone. "This will only lead you to trouble. Who do you think you're dealing with?" Maya pressed her lips together, resisting the urge to shout back in anger. Instead, she offered a small smile as confidence radiated from her. "We're dealing with a broken system, and it's about time we fixed it." With each word, she could see other community leaders stepping forward, drawn to her passion. A teacher, a nurse, and even a local business owner took their place beside her, standing resiliently against the mayor's jeers. They were powerful voices rising together. The mayor's eyes darted, calculating. "You think the news will portray you as the heroes? No, they all see the truth. Violence, chaos, just shadows of your kind." Maya's heart raced. Now was the moment to expose him, to shine a light on their unity. "Look, we're not here to cause trouble. We're here to create it. Change. Respect." She gestured toward the crowd, igniting the fire of determination. "This is how change happens. It starts here, with us." No longer could the mayor cast doubt. "The rhythm of our community," rang out, viscerally intertwining with the ominous thunder rolling overhead. Then something shifted. A hand rose in the crowd. A small gesture soon multiplied as others joined in, fists raised high. Maya felt her insides flutter, a powerful image. She never knew raising a fist could feel this empowering, this transformative. "Look around you," she urged, voice lifting above the roiling clouds. This is hope. This is resilience. We won't let you take our voices away." With the storm looming, she realized this was not just a rally. It was a crescendo, a defining moment that could shape their futures. The fear that had tried to creep in began to dissipate, replaced by an island of courage. But then came the storm, a flash of lightning illuminating the dark sky, deafening thunder shaking the ground beneath their feet. It was as if the world itself had erupted, urging them onward, forcing change. What will it take for them to listen? Maya thought desperately, eyes narrowed at the mayor, who was now visibly shaken. With emotions swirling like the gusts of wind, she felt the doubt of what lay ahead creeping in. Would they be strong enough to face the backlash that was sure to follow? What if their bravery sparked a fire that burned them instead? She stood her ground, resolute against the elements, knowing deep down that their fight was just beginning. Together, unshakable. Would their united front stand up against the impending storm? Would this moment of reckoning give birth to the change they so desperately sought? The winds howled louder, and the clouds darkened over their heads, but Maya's spirit blazed brighter than ever. The true tempest was not just in the sky. It was brewing within them all, and she was ready to face whatever came next. The storm broke with a fury, rain hammering down like 1,000 tiny drummers on the pavement. The crowd gasped and shifted, but Maya anchored herself with a fierce resolve. She would not let her people falter now. "We are here. We are unshakable," she shouted, her voice slicing through the chaos around them. A surge of adrenaline coursed through her veins. She could see fear flickering on some faces, a flicker she refused to let take hold. As the rain drenched them, she stepped closer to Malik, who was still clutching the hand of a little girl beside him. "Even in this, we rise," she called, hoping to ignite the same fire she felt. "Look at us. We are the storm, and we will not be diminished." The little girl, about 7 years old, lifted her head, eyes wide and gleaming with wonder. For a brief moment, it seemed the world had slowed down, the rain becoming a backdrop to Maya's words. "You hear that?" Maya said, gesturing to the chant that began to swell up from the crowd. "Every drop of rain is a promise that we won't stand down." The mayor was losing control, his face reddening, fists clenching at his sides. "This is an embarrassment," he shouted over the relentless downpour. "You'll regret this. I will have this rally shut down." Maya's heart raced, not from fear, but from the electric pulse of stubborn defiance. "You can't silence us," she yelled back, voice steady and piercing. Every gaze was fixed on her now, the storm amplifying her strength. "This is about our lives, our futures. We're tired of being dismissed." The crowd responded with a chorus of voices, flooding with emotion, a tangible manifestation of their collective longing for justice. Every chant felt like a drumbeat in Maya's chest, a call to arms that reverberated through the community. Their unity was vibrant, infused with the spirit of resilience that felt unstoppable, like roots digging deep into the earth as the storm raged above. And as if the heavens were listening to their resolve, the clouds parted slightly, sending beams of light dancing onto the soaked pavement. Gracefully embracing this ethereal change, Maya lifted her face to the sky, feeling the warmth pierce through the cool raindrops. "We matter," she continued, her voice like thunder amidst the backdrop of lightning. "Together, we will confront the darkness and demand what is ours." With those words, the energy in the crowd shifted again. A wave of emotion surged through the people gathered, faces alight with shared determination. They were no longer just individuals. They were a collective force rising, calling out the oppressive silence. Maya noticed her teacher friend, Ms. Rivera, stepping forward, her presence solidifying the movement. "Our children deserve to grow up in a world where they are heard," she cried, tears mingling with the rain as she raised her fist high. The crowd mirrored her, fists frozen in solidarity. As awareness spread like wildfire, more were inspired to join in. Teachers, parents, and old friends, side by side, and stepping closer to the front lines. Maya could feel the pulse of unity reaching a new crescendo. But the mayor's face twisted into anger, and his voice sliced through the moment. "You think this will change anything? You will hate the repercussions." A chill ran down Maya's spine. Storms were dangerous, and the backlash loomed, threatening to break their fragile bond. Giving in to fear would mean losing every step they had fought for. What is on the other side of fear? Change! She shouted back defiantly. "We are not afraid." Just then, a deafening crack of thunder echoed, almost like nature herself was voicing approval. But among the screams of the storm, doubt crept into her mind. Could they sustain this powerful moment? Would it truly bring change, or would they be drowned out by his contempt? With the wind howling and the rain thundering down around them, Maya felt the weight of the fight ahead. A fight that could change everything if only they could stand together long enough to fight back. But what if the mayor had something up his sleeve? Something that could crush the movement before it even took flight? Maya's heart thundered in her chest, the storm echoing its rhythm. For a moment, doubt tried to creep in, but the roar of the crowd pushed it away. She caught Malik's eye, the little girl still clutching his leg, wide-eyed and trusting. Together, she thought, gritting her teeth. "We can do this together. Are you ready?" she shouted, and the crowd erupted again, voices rising with fresh determination. Each chant was louder than the last, each voice layering upon the other until it felt like a tidal wave of hope breaking against the harsh cliffs of injustice. "We are here. We are heard." They were reclaiming their power, and for the first time, it felt tangible. But the mayor was not to be upstaged. With the rain pouring down around them, his figure loomed at the edge of the stage, dripping with fury. "This will not end well for you. I promise you that." His voice shook, but Maya saw through the bluster. Beneath that anger lay fear of losing control, fear of the people rising up. "Listen. He knows we are a force. He is terrified," Maya cried, pointing toward the mayor. "Terrified of us standing together. Because together, we are unstoppable." The crowd roared back, a fierce affirmation. But even as the cheers uprooted the doubt, a new sensation swept through her, a pulse of urgency. This was the moment, and she needed to strike while the iron was hot. "What do we want?" she yelled, her voice rising above the storm's relentless beat. "Justice," they bellowed back. "When do we want it?" "Now." Maya let the enthusiasm wash over her. This was no longer just a rally. It was a revolution waiting to ignite. A surge of confidence rose from her core, pushing back against the uncertainty overshadowing their united front. But beneath her bubbling excitement, something gnawed at her. The mayor's threats lingered like a shadow, whispering a peril beneath their celebration. Out of the corner of her eye, she noticed Ms. Rivera speaking softly to a few teachers nearby. Their expressions shifted, a mingling of unease. What are they saying? Maya wondered, a twisting concern bubbling in her stomach. The storm was loud, but their whispers seemed louder, as if they knew something Maya did not. Repercussions. We need to be prepared. Ms. Rivera's words hung in the air as she gestured toward the mayor, the gravity pulling her eyes in his direction. Maya felt her heart sink. What if he does have something planned? What if the backlash is real? The unease spread through Maya's chest like a crack forming in a solid facade. She shook her head. No. They had come too far. They had built this moment with strength and sweat. She wouldn't let fear twist it into something weak. But before she could voice that thought, a commotion erupted from the edge of the crowd. A group of people surged forward, their expressions fierce and determined. "We're with you," they chanted, adding their voices to the swelling tide. Maya's heart raced as the fresh energy washed over her, a revitalizing balm against her worry. Just maybe, they could turn the tide. Yet deep down, a chilling thought lingered. If they were to confront this storm, what would be the price of their courage? And just as the crowd swelled with renewed fervor, thunder cracked down again, harsher this time, as if warning them all of the tempest yet to come. Maya stood firm, adrenaline coursing through her veins, knowing they were on the brink of something monumental. But the question hung heavy in the air: could they withstand whatever was coming the mayor's way? Would they be ready for the fight beyond this storm? Maya felt a spark coursing through her as the crowd's energy intensified. With every rising chant, she could feel the fear dissolving, replaced by a fierce resolve. She marveled at the resilience around her, people from all walks of life, standing shoulder to shoulder, united under a banner of justice. It was a sight so profoundly beautiful, her heart swelled, pushing her shoulders back as she shouted, "Let them hear us. Let them know we will not back down." The mayor's eyes narrowed, and his lips curled into a sneer. He stepped forward, his voice booming against the tempest. "What do you think this will accomplish? You think your little protest means anything? The system is bigger than you." His words dripped with contempt, but Maya's heart thrummed louder than any threat he posed. "Maybe it does," she shouted back, surprising herself with the conviction behind her words. "Maybe it's time we show him that the people hold the power." The onlookers responded with a fervor that sent shivers down her spine. "Power to the people," they chanted, amplifying the very essence of her belief. The rain intensified, drenching their clothes, but it felt like a cleansing. She could feel the tension in the air, sharper now, like static before a storm. Then, amidst the shouting and the roaring wind, she heard something else, a shrill whistle piercing the chaos. She turned, alarmed, as a line of officers emerged from the shadows, shields raised, batons glinting under the ominous sky. A chill settled over the crowd, fear creeping back in like an unwelcome guest. "Get back!" one officer shouted, attempting to regain control. "Disperse immediately." For a heartbeat, the crowd hesitated, eyes darting between the officers and each other, uncertainty creeping in. Maya's heart raced as she caught Malik's grip tighten on the little girl's hand. She could sense their hesitation, and felt a cold sweat break over her brow. "No! We cannot let them intimidate us." Her voice rose, cutting through the noise. "Remember why we're here. We are fighting for our future, for our children. Do not let fear take hold." Slowly, one by one, heads turned back to face those in charge, and the chants grew louder again. But within that chorus, Maya heard Ms. Rivera, a concerned, steady voice rising with an unexpected softness. "They can't take our spirit. Fight for what is right." Those words wrapped around Maya like a lifeline. The rally could not shatter like glass. It had become more than just voices crying out in the storm. It was a movement. "Together. Together," Maya urged, even as her heart pounded loudly. She felt the fear rise, but beneath it thrummed a fierce determination that pushed back harder, propelling her forward. Then she spotted the mayor again, scowling in frustration. "This will not end well for anyone," he yelled, but uncertainty flickered across his stern face. It was there for anyone to see, and fed her belief that they were making an impact. Glancing back to Malik, she realized the little girl was looking up at her, eyes wide and trusting, a silent plea mixed with admiration. Right at that moment, Maya understood it was not just about them. It was about every single soul present, fighting for a brighter tomorrow. Everyone deserved a chance. As the officers braced for more resistance, A warning siren blared in the distance. Maya felt the tension grow heavier, the stakes rising like the storm clouds above. What comes next? She wondered, heart racing again with urgency. Would they hold strong against the tide? But then she caught sight of something out of the corner of her eye, a flash of movement near the edge of the crowd, someone breaking through, and instinctively, she knew this was about to change everything. Yet all at once, the rally was hanging in the balance, teetering between despair and hope. What lay ahead in the storm? Would their spirit endure? As the air crackled with possibility, Maya knew they were marching closer to a truth that could not be ignored. Maya took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the crowd around her, a living, breathing force ready to explode. The rain poured down, drenching their bodies, but it only seemed to ignite the spirit within. She could feel hesitation waning, replaced by a collective fury, one that was becoming harder to contain. "Look around," she shouted, her voice carrying over the tumult. "We stand united against this darkness." The officers shuffled slightly, clearly unsure of how to proceed, as the chants grew louder, echoing through the rain. Maya's heart raced at the sight of her community rallying together, a brilliant tapestry of colors, ages, and backgrounds intertwined with a single hope. Malik squeezed the little girl's hand, and she offered a tremulous smile back at him. It was contagious, and soon, the faces of anxiety shifted, lips curling into determined grins. "This is who we are," Maya shouted, feeling strength build in her gut. "We are change. We will not be erased." The officers, taken aback by the growing momentum of the crowd, steeled themselves, shields raised protectively. But Maya saw it, an uncertainty in their stance. They were human too, just doing a job. "You don't have to listen to hate," she implored, locking eyes with one of the officers. "Help us redefine this fight for our children. Be part of the change." The words hung in the air, and just for a moment, she saw the officer's hardened resolve flicker. He took a breath, uncertainty echoing through the ranks of blue uniforms. In that heartbeat, something shifted. "That's right," Ms. Rivera called out, stepping forward. "We're fighting for our children's future. They deserve a chance just like anyone else." The crowd roared in agreement, and the unity became a shield, stronger than the downpour. It was alive, pushing back against the darkness that loomed around them. The mayor, growing visibly frantic, looked back at the police line. "Control them," he barked, shaking. "You see? They turned violent. They are a mob." The assertion rang hollow, and Maya could sense that the people barriers were shattering. "We want to be silenced," she called out, lifting her hands. "We are the thunder in the storm, and we will not retreat." The crowd surged, voices intertwining, a remorseless force growing like a wave. "We are the storm. We are the future." The movement began to ripple through the group until it became a deafening chant, engulfing everything in its path. The officers visibly shrank back, and she could see the mayor's facade crumbling, unease flickering across his face. With renewed energy, Maya turned to Malik, who was watching her with wide eyes, that innocent spark now ablaze with belief. "This is for you, baby," she cried, heart swelling as she felt the connectedness of her community like never before. "This isn't just our fight, this is for every child whose dreams have been muzzled." At that moment, it hit her the transformation she had longed for was here. And though the storm still raged overhead, she felt a warmth enveloping her. Suddenly, a woman in the crowd stepped forward, holding a sign she had made earlier. It read, "Dreams do matter." Others followed, pouring in behind her, each additional sign a testament to their shared struggle, their hopes. Maya's heart swelled as she watched them rising, bold faces declaring, "We matter. We deserve. We will not be erased." The realization washed over her, this was history in the making. The mayor stepped back, clearly rattled, trying to regain control as the chant swelled. "You're just kids," he screamed, losing his composure. "You have no idea what you're getting into." But Maya smiled. "We've had enough lessons in injustice. This time, we are the teachers." In that moment, she felt invincible, surrounded by the unshakable spirit that filled the hearts around her. With the mayor's threats echoing in the background, and the officers realizing they were outnumbered, they shifted their stance. Slowly, they lowered their shields, confusion and realization mixing in the air. Maya stood firm, her voice vibrant. "We must emerge from this storm together. Change is ours for the taking." And as if nature herself joined their cause, the clouds started to part. Sunlight pierced through, illuminating the vibrant faces of those who had come together. Malik's expression was one of pure awe. He stepped closer to his mother, his voice strong as he shouted, "We're all in this together. And we won't stop fighting until we see change." The crowd erupted, their relentless cheers echoing in triumphant solidarity against the oppressive shadows that had lingered for too long. The mayor had no choice. As the warmth wrapped around them, Maya felt her heart soar. They weren't just fighting for Malik anymore, they were fighting for every single person who had felt the sting of injustice. The storm would not defeat them. The fight wasn't over, but they had taken a stand, and it irradiated through the community. Together, they had transformed fear into hope. And from that day forward, Maya knew they could change the world one rally at a time. If this story inspired you, you need to subscribe now. Don't wait not even one more second to hit that like button and show your support. Comment below what you loved most about this ending, and make sure to share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, we can make waves of change.